Hey, what's up, everyone? It's the Enlightened One, aka God's Child, aka God's Child. All right, it's been a long time. It's been a couple of weeks, couple of months, couple of days. It's 2021. And most of you guys out there who follow me, who like what I do, some of you guys don't like what I do. You don't like what I say. If you are a subscriber and you know how I got down with the Tupac, the Biggie, the Russell Poole, the Frank Alexandra, Suge Knight videos, then you know what I'm about to say is going to be on point and facts. Okay? If you watch the Amazon Prime Once Upon a Time in Miami, you had the famous singers of four African American black pioneers and activists. You had Sam Cooke, you had Jim Brown, you had Malcolm X, and you have the greatest of all time, Ali. Now, I'm going to tell you something about this movie what most people don't understand. Okay? So, without further ado, now my catalog speaks for itself. I appreciate everyone out there worldwide who watch my videos. And there are certain videos that they don't want me to put out there. But I have to put this out there because after I watch Once Upon a Time in Miami, which is based off a true story, it shows about corruption, friendship, black power, uh, being, active. And these four men met together in Miami to come together with a solution for black unity, black justice, equal rights for the African American Negro people at that time. See, right now in this generation, we are African Americans. At that time, it was called a Negro. Okay, Negro. That was during the 60s. Or now during the 60s, Edgar J. Hoover of the FBI declared war on black messiahs, the Black Panther unit, anybody who calls an uprising to awaken black people. Okay, so now understand something. Let's go this way. All right, you have four black pioneers of different professions. You have one singer, two athletes, and a black activist, former Muslim Malcolm X. Let's start with Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke started off in a church with a group. His family based in Chicago, my hometown. Sam Cooke was a talented individual. Yes, he was a womanizer. He was a cheater on his wife. He was a playboy, but he also was a financialist. He was a business owner, songwriter, singer, producer, everything. So now the thing about what happened with Sam Cooke is this. Sam Cooke at that time, his professionalism was unheard of for a Negro because they were still segregated. So you have to understand, back in those days in the 60s, you had segregation. Sam Cooke, even with all his credentials, television shows, television appearances, all the money he had, he still had to sleep in black hotels, eating black. It was segregation back then, okay? So then you had Jim Brown, this big black Negro. He was a football player of the Cleveland Browns, and he was good at what he do. He broke the world record of having the most yards ran at that time in the 60s. So Jim Brown, they call him Jimmy Brown. White boys call him Jimmy Brown. And even Jimmy Brown was treated with the second class citizenship. Boy, Negro, the N word or whatever. And they didn't care about your status at that time. All they care about him is running the ball. And then you had Muhammad Ali with the he was fast. He had a mouth on him. See, a lot of white people didn't like Ali. At the time, he was Cassius Clay. He had this from Louisville, Kentucky. He was bouncing. He was woo, woo, woo. See, I'm more like Ali. I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest. You know what I'm saying? I am the greatest. I am the greatest. He told people, non-white, he told people of white people, I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest. So Ali thing was he ran into Malcolm X later. But 22 years old, he became the heavyweight champ because he was fast. And what people don't know about Ali, he was fast with his fist. When Ali threw one punch, boom, 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 boom. It is documented that Ali can hit you. Pop, 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 pop. That's why he beat Sonny Liston. Sonny Liston was older. He was a young man in his prime, and he had that speed. Sonny Liston couldn't do no one Ali. That's why he set his old ass down. That's why guys my age will have to learn how to grapple you young motherfuckers. I ain't gonna fight you young bucks. I'm gonna put that move on him and make you, because I'm not gonna go toe to toe. So Ali has speed. Now, the speed that Bruce Lee had with his hands, Muhammad Ali had that same speed. Boom, boom. Now, last but not least, Malcolm X, a political agitator of the United States government. Malcolm X made a comment about John F. Kennedy, who was assassinated in Texas. Elijah Muhammad specifically told the speakers, do not make any derogatory messages about this man. This man is a president. People love this president. Black people love Kennedy. At that time, they still do. Malcolm X, at the time of his height, and a little arrogant, he made a statement that was taken out of context, the chicken come home to roost. Now, whether he meant or whatever by that, the news media, the white media took it and it went worldwide. Malcolm X said it, and because he's affiliated with the Nation of Islam, because he was affiliated with the Nation of Islam, that caused a problem, because the Nation of Islam at that time, what Malcolm X to understand is, we are doing business and you are causing a major problem. As of now, you are restricted for 90 days. For 90 days, you're not making any talking to reporters, no speeches, no anything. So he was like suspended. So now during Malcolm X's suspension, you know, his ego got involved because he shouldn't have made that statement. And so you had people, COINTELPRO, had spies and snitches and police informants inside the nation who put the bug out there. You know, Malcolm X did this. And they look just like this. Some look just like this. And so the CIA, FBI, all they did was this. And that put a target on his back. Sam Cooke had the voice that can move the nation. His song, his pretty voice, and the white women, oh, he had a voice that was a gift. And because you could sway a crowd, that put a target on his back. Jim Brown was a big black negro, and couldn't nobody stop him. He boom, boom. He was a running bulldozer. He was a Cleveland Brown, and the Browns did good this year. Jim Brown was this big black negro. You couldn't stop him. He was a bulldozer. Jim Brown was a bulldozer, but he also was a political activist, and he was doing a lot of talking to the community, colored people. No, you know what? Let me take that back. In the '60s, colored. No, I'm sorry. No, Negro people, right? So now who's left? Muhammad Ali. He became a target once he affiliated himself with Malcolm X, Cassius Clay. Once he hung out with Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali was hanging out with Sam Cooke. Now the problem is Sam Cooke was a Negro who played the game better than the industry. He was a black Negro who owned his own masters. He was a Negro, singer, songwriter who owned his own masters. And at that time, that is a no-no. That is a no-no. So you had Jim Brown, who was trying to use his money to fund the neighborhoods and things like that, black power, black this, and be an inspiration. Okay? And then you had Muhammad Ali, who joined the Nation of Islam, who hung out with Malcolm X, where he had to separate himself from Malcolm X because of the order of Elijah Muhammad. So now, let's go back. Malcolm X became a target once he started putting out Elijah Muhammad allegedly stories. And we know the stories about this old man who was wise, who put this nation of Islam together with the help of Minister Fraud. Now, once he said that, that put a bullseye on his back. So now let's get to the meeting. The meeting was about, I need for you to do this, I need for you to do that. And the movie, they tried to portray Sam Cooke as he wasn't down with it. That's not true. Sam Cooke was going around trying to put black artists on. Look, Sam Cooke had his own record company. He owned his own businesses. And Sam Cooke employed people. And he knew how to get masters. He knew how to get points. He knew the whole game. He was the small Suge Knight at that time. Only Sam Cooke was a cool dude. In the movie, they try to portray Sam Cooke as this thug guy, this, that, whatever. No, 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 no. Sam Cooke was a smart man who was trying to get black artists the game. You need to own your own masters. You can do this, you can do that. And so once he hung out with Malcolm X, that just flamed the fire. So now you got the Nation of Islam working 9 to 5. They own them now. 4 targets. And what Malcolm X didn't understand in the meeting is there's no black power without green power. See, Malcolm X was out of the Nation of Islam. He had death threats. COINTELPRO was on his ass. They put a big bullseye on his back. Malcolm X days was numbered, and he knew it. In the movie, I like how they portray Malcolm X as he was stressed out. And spoiler alert, if you didn't see it, too bad. When Cassius Clay had doubt, the disappointment of Malcolm X, because Malcolm X wanted Cassius Clay to go over him. Malcolm X wanted to start his own movement, and he said, quote, the right way. And I understand the Nation of Islam concern because, as you can see, the nation has no problems. They have no problems. So in order for you not to have problems, you have to become a Muslim, Muslim, because they are in a group and they protect each other. So once Malcolm X was pushed out because he said something he shouldn't have said, Malcolm X had a nice little following. He went to Miami to get his plan together. I want to recruit these 4 guys: Jim Brown, Ali, Sam Cooke, and himself. And it's a very good movie, but pay attention to detail. There are people. Malcolm X cared about black people. He's dead because he actually cared about black people. And then you have some people who have money who care about nothing but money. Jim Brown, at that time, he got tired of playing the football, what he called, the white man game. He became an actor because, he wanted to show black people that I could do more than just run the ball. He showed his talents. So Sam Cooke, this creative songwriter, his voice, it's like a melody to get people's attention. These boys was targeted. They was targeted by the FBI, the CIA, and believe it or not, guys, this is based off a true story. Ali had jabs as fast as Bruce Lee. Now, I'm not saying he can whoop Bruce Lee, but he was fast. That's not a joke. He was actually that fast. He could throw, bah, 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 bah. That's how he could throw 3 jabs, bah, 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 just like that. Bah, 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 bah. So when Cassius Clay decided to become the Nation of Islam, the Nation of Islam really shut Malcolm X out. At that point, Malcolm X knew his life would no longer exist. His time was coming. So now, they split up. They went to their separate ways, their separate lives or whatever. As you can see, Malcolm X was murdered in New York as he was making this at the auditorium. And get your hand out my pocket. After that, hold it. He was dead. Sam Cooke was found dead at a cheap sleazy hotel with a prostitute. And for a guy with that knowledge and intelligence to mess with a low-life prostitute. See how Sam Cooke and Tupac, Ayanna Jackson, Sam Cooke, Tupac, Okay. So Jim Brown later on went to prison, went to jail for 6 months for some stuff for activate for having organizations for black people for this, you know. So all these boys paid the price in some type of way. But the point of the movie is the point is you have four black athletes and one activist, a singer. You have two athletes, one singer, and one powerful minister speaker, and they all was trying to make a change. We got to do something about this. The police brutality, this and that and this. And Sam Cooke smoking a cigarette, you know, yeah, you know, do your own research, guys. Now, you know how I get down. My name is the Enlightened One. Do me a favor.